Welcome to this official first video from myself here, Nick Engels, your foreign exchange educator. We're going to be preparing you today to learn how to properly learn trading. You heard that right. We're going to teach you how to learning trading. It's very, very important to prepare. They say preparation and the right preparation is more than 50% of the work. And I could not agree with that more. I think if we are prepared, we are planned, and we have a plan, then we can absolutely expect success. So the topics I will be covering with you and the presentation we will be going through together right here is to do exactly that. To set the right expectations, to have a plan, to prepare you properly and teach you how to correctly learn trading so that when you move forward into the next videos and you start with the basics trading bootcamp, you will be absorbing and utilizing the information you learned there to the fullest. So I hope you're ready because we're going to get started. All right. What can you expect on today's training? This is super funny. A lot of the times when we are completely new in trading, this is kind of what it looks like, right? We are a newbie in the market. We just heard about trading, and this was definitely me 8+ years ago. There's people calling and saying they have the best holy grail strategy around every corner. 10,000 groups and gurus with trading signals that want to sell you signals that are going to make you a millionaire in a month. And then, of course, there's the market itself lurking around the corner to absolutely kick your ass, right? This is how it feels in the beginning. Now, no worries. We're going to make it simple. I like to keep things simple. This is my catchphrase. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. I love this. We keep things stupid simple over here. So today we're going to be covering some tips to implement. We're going to keep the trading simple and ensure that you are ready for that trading education in the Basics Bootcamp. And I highly advise you, of course, to make notes and repeat the information you learned here today so you can actually, again, learn it and memorize it and use it and integrate it to the fullest. They always say note takers are money makers. That's a quote that often goes around. I disagree with that. I was making a lot of notes in the beginning. I have, and I would show you, but it's in another room. I have about this pile of notes throughout the first years that I made when it comes to trading. And why do I disagree with the quote? Because I was taking a lot of notes, but I was not making money yet in the beginning. So I wouldn't agree that note takers are money makers. What I do agree with, though, is that if you want to create a better tomorrow, you got to remember what is being said today. If you want to improve as an individual, if you want to improve in any skill set, including trading, you got to actually remember the information and the training you follow and learn. Otherwise, to be fairly honest, you might as well close the video right now and go do something else because you are wasting your time. So make notes and let's dive into it. First thing we want to cover here today is our expectation. All right. Manage your expectations. This is incredibly important. Because if we start with the wrong expectations, we have the risk of getting disappointed with our expectations and hence making some unreversible or wrong decisions. I personally think that probably 99% of people quit for two different reasons. The first reason we might talk about another time, but the second reason is the wrong expectations. People start with trading, have the entirely wrong expectation, and then when that false and completely incorrect and unrealistic expectation is not met, they say, oh, this doesn't work. This is not what I expected. I quit, right? So to prevent that from happening, because let's be honest, quitting anything that you have put time and effort into, that was a waste of time and effort. I'm so sorry to say it, but this is true for anything. So better we make sure you have the right expectations from the beginning, and then you can make that proper decision. All right, if this is the correct expectation I should have, is this still something I want? If yes, bam, you can continue, and then you're going to come out on top like I did throughout the years. So what is the right expectation? And we have this funny image here on the right, right? What most people think success is, the straight line with a finish point, and what actually success is, a whole bunch of obstacles, failures, and interruptions along the way. Now, of course, right? You know, it's all not sunshine and rainbows. Now, something I really like about this image, which most people perhaps don't notice immediately, is the following. You see on the left side the finish line. On the right side, we can see there is no finish line. All right. So that is actually the first, besides the obvious fact that obviously you're going to have some setbacks, you're going to have some challenges. Hopefully, you realize that by now, because this is true for any any business, any skill set, anything that we start in life. You know, it's not always sunshine and rainbow. But something I want to again specify and talk about is that success and trading very much does not have a finish line. All right. It does not. There are always more things you can learn. There are always things you can improve within your trading system. There are always improvements to be made when it comes to your risk reward, the way you manage your positions. There's always improvement possible, your mindset, etc., etc. There are points you're going to reach that you are very happy with. I would call them goals, right? But there should never be a point that you say, wow, I've reached it. I know it all. Because the moment you think you know it all, you absolutely know nothing anymore, right? Learning a skill takes time, energy, and practice, right? This is true for absolutely any skill. So, what we got to talk about is, of course, how much time, how much energy, and how much practice does it actually take specifically for trading. Now, this valley of disappointment is very important to understand. And that's what I mentioned earlier. If we have the wrong expectations compared to what the actual reality is, we fall into what is called that valley of disappointment. And that's why people, you know, are disappointed and they end up quitting. Now, how much time, energy, and practice does it really take to become a good trader? You might ask. Very good question. Something that I'm gonna perhaps pour a cold bucket of water over your head right now here is you cannot become good at trading in a month. All right, you cannot become good at trading in 3 months. Does that mean you cannot have some positive results in a month? No, you can. I had good results in my first month. So it's possible you have some good results, but becoming actually good at trading long term and consistently, that's going to be a process which takes, to be fairly honest, years. All right. So very important to understand. Now, good thing is there is no rush, and trading is a skill set that has unlimited income potential, which is a very big reason when you might weigh out, if it takes years to learn this, is that worth it? Well, think about it like this. It takes you easily at the minimum 3 years to go study for a degree. For some degrees, 4, 5, 6. In the case of a doctor, 9 years, right? I have a couple of friends who are doctors, and they think it's worth it because they get a degree and then they can go practice that job and use that degree. So it's all about, is it worth it, yes or no? Now, if most people are prepared to go study for 3 years to get a degree, to maybe use that degree to work a job, maybe, or maybe not, maybe they go do something entirely else, a lot of the times, in my opinion, is it worth it to commit at the minimum 3 years to learn a skill set which has unlimited income potential? Yes, because with the degree that I, for example, personally was studying for, I did not have unlimited income potential. I knew exactly what the income potential was and what the maximum was. Most jobs have a maximum limited income potential. Trading does not, because we work with percentages. So, not having a maximum limited income potential, it being unlimited, means that the skill set of trading can earn you unlimited amounts of money. Now, when I realized that, I, I was like, okay, even if this takes 10 years, absolutely worth my time because it has unlimited income potential. Same when it comes to energy. What I want to mention here when it comes to energy, obviously, the more energy you put in on a daily basis, the less amount of time it's going to take. So, someone that spends 1 hour a week when it comes to learning trading is most likely going to need more time to master the skill set of trading than someone who spends 1 hour a day, right? And then practice, extremely important. Practice makes mastery. We're going to be talking about a little bit later what practice actually is and how practice should actually look. Now, the new point that appeared here on our slide, one bad trade doesn't make you a bad trader or doesn't give it a bad strategy. This is also such an important expectation to set. Too many individuals, including myself in the beginning, jump to conclusions too fast. And we see one bad result and we think, I'm not good at this, or maybe the strategy I'm doing doesn't work, or the tool I'm using doesn't work, or the approach to the market. Look, trading is not a skill set where you can reach a point ever that you are 100% accurate. So you're always going to have losing trades. That doesn't mean that that's a bad trade. Now, we are very much conditioned to have an expectation that if we put time and effort consistently into a skill set, we reach a point of mastery, and mastery of that skill set means that we make no longer mistakes, or the likeliness of a mistake is extremely small. Think about learning to drive a bike. You put in time, you put in energy to learn how to drive a bicycle. You reach a point of mastery, which I think you guys reached at this point, guys and girls, where you do not have failure anymore. You do not fall from the bike like when you were a kid. You don't need side wheels anymore. You know how to drive the bike properly without failure. Yes? Trading does not work like this. So this is a massive expectation to have correctly from day one. Trading, you will have trades that end up with a loss. It is not connected or related in any way with your level of mastery of the skill. People that are phenomenally great at trading continue to have trades that are losing. What makes them good is that overall, if you look at their day, week, month, yearly results, they are overall making profits on a consistent basis. So trading is not a type of skill set where you can reach a form of mastery, where the mastery looks in the form that you have zero failures. That is very, very important. So when you will inevitably have that trade that ends in loss, do not come to any conclusion. That does not make you a bad trader. That does not make you a bad strategy. Now, embracing that is very important, right? Because the opposite of being fearful and the opposite of if we have some losses is if we have some wins. A lot of the times, if we are beginning in trading, we might start to make a couple wins. You might do some good things, and overconfidence can kick in, right? I think I have this meme here. There we go. Two stages every trader goes through. I'm a god. I have no idea what I'm doing, right? So the right side is what we just discussed. A person has one losing trade. They say, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I don't know if it works, if it's worth it. And then the other side, a person has three winning trades and they say, oh my God, I am a walking ATM. I can just print money everywhere, right? Try to avoid both extremes. Again, having a master or a mastery level of the skill set of trading means you fully well know and understand that you will have both winning and losing trades, but overall you come out into the profit, right? So do not just accept losing trades, but expect losing trades. It is very much a part of trading. And then last but not least, with all of this, right, ego is not your amigo. Ego kicks in both if we have a negative result, in the sense of a hurt ego, but also when we have a positive result, instead in the sense of a bloated ego. So try to leave your ego at the door. Trading is very much a process where ego can become a serious problem. It can also become more visible. You might be an individual that has never really encountered the fact that you have an ego. Trading will show it to you. I always like to say trading is one of the most clearest mirrors that you can have within your life. So you will learn a lot about yourself, and you might discover you do have some ego, which is completely normal. It's completely human, completely healthy as well, but try to keep it under control. What I recommend to have the smoothest progress and the smoothest way to being a successful trader is applying both humility and coachability. Always stay humble. I am 8 years in. I very much realize, think, and apply that I have a lot of things to learn. I still, up until this day, learn from other traders, other individuals that I look up to and I take notes on and I learn from. All right. I watch educational content consistently. So never think that you are too good to learn or too good to ask for help, neither. Be humble in that sense as well. I am here to absolutely assist you, to help you. In no sense do I think I am better than you as a human being. I do think that I am better in the skill set of trading, but the only reason is because I'm 8 years into the process of trading, whereas maybe you are only 1 year or less within the process of trading. So the only difference between me and you right here is time. All right. That does not make me better as a person or a human at all. So I'm very open to help. I'm very also open for feedback always. If I'm doing something wrong or something could be improved, we're going to be doing this together. And then the second thing, coachability. Once again, be extremely coachable. A huge part of coachability is actually be actively coachable. So, to be the best mentee possible. Don't put the blame on your mentor. Don't put the responsibility of why you're not progressing within your trading on the teacher or on the mentor or on whoever. It is your responsibility at the end of the day if you are successful in anything, including in trading. So be actively coachable. Ask for help if you need help. Ask a question if you have a question. So, where can it go wrong? And this is super important to understand. What do we see here? We see on the y-axis, the vertical axis, amount, and on the horizontal axis, time, right? Let's talk about the green line first. The green line represents all new things we are learning. So learning new things. In the beginning, so all the way in the beginning of the time, when we start something and something is new, we have a whole bunch of new things we can learn. This is why it's excited to start a new skill set. And the excitement, that really nice feeling, is because in the beginning, you start something fresh, something new. Everything is new. Everything is new information. Your brain has something which makes it release dopamine when it experiences a new experience. All right. When it experiences something new, some new information, some new know how, some new action, some new experience, some new feelings, it has this. That's why you feel so good when you do new things. Now, the amount of new information, the amount of new things you learn obviously decreases with time. The more time you spend with doing the same skill set, the same business, the same passion, the same hobby, whatever it is, the less new information you will learn. The more you will understand, the more you will remember, the more you will know, the less new things will be presented to you. Now, this does not mean that there are not always more things to learn, which is why the graph keeps going steadily up, right? But that excitement in the beginning, be very realistic about that is not going to stay that high. Now, what can we do about this? We can actively continue to pursue new information to keep us excited. That is one thing. But secondly, is realizing that this is a part of your learning process. Yes, in the beginning, it's new information, excitement, oh my God, so many cool new things. And that's the first phase. Phase two is now taking all of that information and getting really good at understanding and applying that information, right? Because too many people stay stuck in phase one where they're just, I want new stuff, I want new stuff, I want new stuff. And they never actually solidify the understanding of all that fresh, new experiences and information that they get. All right. So that's the green line. Now, the blue line, this is super important. And this is, again, expectations. And we see it here as well, right? Same graph here at the right bottom corner, expectation, the blue line. Close to every single skill you have learned into your entire life up until this moment has a linear progression when it comes to results. All right? What does this mean? The more time and effort you put into a specific skill set, the more positive results you get. And it goes linear. So you put in more time and effort, you get more results. Put in more time and effort, you get even more results. More time and effort, you get better, more results, right? So it's like the more time and effort you put in, the better you become, the more results you get. That's linear progression. It goes like this. Let's give some examples of that. What are linearly progressive result skills? Pretty much anything you can think about. Driving a bike, learning to tie your shoes, your social skills, your relationship skills, your job. So every time you put in A and you get B, you put in more of A, you get more of B. You put more hours in your job, you get more paid, right? You become better at your job because you spend more years in that specific field, your salary is higher. It's very linear. The more you put in on this side, the more you get on that other side. I hope that makes sense. Almost every single skill set is like that. Whatever you can think about. Swimming, gym, any type of sports, anything. Literally anything, 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 anything. There are very few things that do not have a linear progression system when it comes to results. Now, trading does not have a linear progress system when it comes to results. Trading does not work like this. It's not that the more or the better you become at trading, then necessarily immediately the more results you will gain from your trading. Trading has a exponential result progression, right? An exponential result representation, which is the yellow line you see there on the chart. This means that in the beginning, you will learn a lot of new things. You will put in effort, you will learn, you will become a better trader, having more knowledge about the market, but your results will most likely stay close to zero. You might have some spikes where you like, woo, make some profits, and then you might lose them again. You might make some more profits and lose them again. But to keep it simple, your results are not going to be that much. You're going to become even better, even better. Your results are going to be like slightly more, but not so much. You're going to become even better, slightly more, but not so much. But then after putting in, and I would say thinking months and years of effort, learning, and progress, so progressing as a trader in your skill sets as a trader, your risk management as a trader, your mindset as a trader, your technical analysis, fundamental analysis, everything that comes in trading, your results are going to start moving up exponentially. Where now it's not linear, but it goes faster than the linear progression system. All right. To the point, it's going to break through, which is what we can see there in the right upper corner, and your results are going to far succeed your actual time and effort you're putting in. And this is the first point of the training we talked about, and what I shared is that that's what makes trading worthwhile. That it has that unlimited income potential where your results can far succeed the actual effort and time you put in. So it's very important to understand that that's how results in trading work. Now, I could ask you and explain you and tell you, you know what? You just need to understand this. However, you might understand what I just explained consciously, right? Which means with your brain, you're paying attention to me now, and you might say consciously, yes, I get this with your thoughts. But subconsciously, which is what you don't control, you don't get this, all right? And that's not your fault. You have been conditioned that results are linear, all right? So even if you consciously understand what I just explained and you say, yeah, okay, I get it, I accept it, you do not subconsciously understand and accept it. So instead of me telling you, hey, this is how it is, just accept it, learn that this is how it is, what I'm going to ask you instead is, instead of trying to shift your expectation, is you can think in linear form, but instead of focusing on, hey, my results need to be linear progression, focus on your progress should be linear progression. So instead of me expecting from you and asking you, hey, just realize and accept that your results are going to be exponential, which subconsciously not going to work, you can continue to look at your whole trading journey as linear, but don't look linear progression at the results. Don't use the results as a check mark, so to say. Use your progress as a check mark. How does that look? Do not look at how are my trading results monetary right now compared to 1 month ago. That's the wrong benchmark to use. Look instead at what is my progress that I made right now compared to 1 month ago. And progress refers to how much information have you absorbed over the last month? How much skills have you acquired over the past month? How much more knowledgeable are you in different areas of trading? How much better are you at analysis? How many or how good have you learned a certain approach or strategy to the market, right? What did you learn and how did you improve your risk management? And this is looking at progress throughout your whole trading career is going to keep you sane, to be fairly honest. Where if people that use their results as a benchmark, that might drive you a little bit crazy, because once again, we're not used to something moving exponentially, and most people can't deal with that. They think the results should move linearly, which that's not how it works in trading, and hence they are frustrated. They're unhappy with the results. They think they should have more results than they actually have, and they should have, because they shouldn't have more results because it works exponentially. I hope I'm being clear to you. This is an extremely important point. This is an extremely important trading to understand. I'm going to keep it to this one slide just because it's so key. Expectations when it comes to trading. On the next trading and the next video you will watch, we're going to continue with preparing you properly on how to correctly learn trading. But this is most likely, in my personal humble opinion, the most important thing to start with, and that is having the right expectation. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.